So let's take a step back to the product and service. Who would be your customer? And you might think this is obvious, but I've talked to some people with ideas, and they didn't think about this question. And really, in any business, it's the most important question. Who's going to be your customer? And it might be, well, I've heard people say, well, anybody can be my customer. Well, that's not true. I don't care if you're selling a Swift or a car, whatever. It's not anybody. It's a demographic. Where geographically these people exist, what is their demographic, what is their income, what is the product, is it for someone who's older, younger, sick, healthy? What is the demographic? Who is your customer? What needs of your customer would your idea, invention, or business meet? And if that need is so weak or so, the stronger that need is, the greater the likelihood that you'll be successful. Need or desire. Because, I never knew that we needed to have 6,000 songs fit into, a device that's the size of a pack of playing cards. But apparently I need that and my 3 kids need that too. So it's a desire, and you got to jump ahead and think, can you create that? And what are they using now to meet that need? And why is your idea or invention better? So if somebody says, I got this alternative, but there's something out there now that's currently being used, your idea better be better. Because if it's not going to provide some extra benefit, or be cheaper, or have some other feature, people aren't going to buy it. You can fool people once, maybe twice. If you do an infomercial late at night, I guess you can fool a lot of people sometimes, but in the end, it's got to be providing value.
Well, look at Pet Rock. They sold a lot of them.
That's true. That's true.
Fad.
Or get a fad. Yeah, I'd like to get a fad. That'd be good. Okay. So what will keep competitors from replacing your idea? It's another thing. I review business plans for Ben Franklin Technology Partners, and they're always looking to see what's the barrier to entry. Okay, so this is a great idea, great invention, but as soon as you're up there, someone else can do it. So that's true for certain things. For other things, it's not a problem. Either because you've got patent, or because you're first to market, or because you've got stronger management, or because you've done it before, or you're okay with the fact that other people come to the market. You'll still have enough of the niche. If you capture 10% of this market, it's fine. And what are you going to do to protect your idea or invention? Again, are you going to use legal means? Are you going to use the ability to get to the market first, what I'm saying? Are you going to be able to make it so it can't be reverse engineered? What kind of things can you do to that? And this should be addressed in a plan. So, research. And I'm not going to run through each of these things, but you'll have the slides for yourself. But question analyze. Do a lot of homework. And ask a lot of questions. A lot of people don't want to do this. So first thing, survey potential customers, ask them what they want and need, are they willing to pay for it? What do they think of your idea? How much would they pay for it? Okay? And what else could they do with your invention? How could you extend it? What other needs they have they feel your product will be improved upon better provide? I call this a reality check. And oftentimes people who are starting ideas or inventions or businesses don't do it. I had one client who wanted to open up a youth sports fitness gym in Wayne, Pennsylvania. And I said, you go do some research. I don't need to do research. I said, well, go do some research. Stand outside the Wawa at that corner. Interview mothers, because it's for children. We're going to be taking classes, high-end, expensive classes. Not doing research, I'm sure it's right. They completed them. He didn't do research. He was successful, though. So that was good in that case. But I've got other clients who haven't done research, and I've begged them, and haven't been successful. Now, if you do research, does it ensure you'll be successful? Of course not. But if you can do a day or two, or a week or 2 weeks of research, talking to prospects and customers, and find out that no one's interested in your product, that's very valuable. Or find out they don't like the packaging, or they don't like the price point, or they don't like whatever. Now, again, I do have to say that doesn't mean that if you're successful with the idea that people won't purchase it. Conversely, if your test group likes it, it doesn't guarantee it. Because there are certain things, like the iPod, that if you had said to people, do you want a device for $300 to carry music? Some people might have thought it was neat. Probably not. No, we would have predicted this groundswell. And other things where people are asked, be careful who you ask. If you're asking relatives, friends, people who are biased, or if you're asking a broad swath of people. And you don't give them such specifics that you think you're going to be jeopardizing anything confidential. Just the broad concept.
So do you have to get kind of specific for them to be able to give you a good answer?
You do, but I mean, I wouldn't want, if the idea is so targeted and so narrow, I wouldn't want you to have to give them anything technical per se. What will it do for the person? That is the only one that helps. So, So what kind of secondary research should you do? If you're thinking about an idea or invention, is there an industry trade magazine related to it? Is your idea related to the automotive industry? Well, you should be reading auto trade magazines. Is it related to plumbing fixtures? You should be going to trade shows and talking to people and seeing people and learning the industry. Go to people at trade associations. Look up ratios and statistics for comparable ideas and businesses. Okay? Yeah.
Most of the things we're talking about, probably I envision, you're talking about a hard product, something
Okay.
that actually functions. So what about, could you address the idea that there is an internet-related,
Yep.
concept that is a business
Yep.
operation, but it's software.
Yeah, sure. So probably 10 of our 40 clients are software companies. And you can still do research. You can still talk to, one's the insurance
I'm
company.
talking about the actual idea of venting and feeling that you're still protecting your idea, that if you now fill the, get the thing in operations, I mean, someone's not going to just say, wow, this is great, we'll do that too.
Well, so a couple thoughts. I've had companies that have done research and they were oblique. They got as close as they thought when they felt comfortable with asking people about, but not so specific they gave it away. A client of ours is involved with pay per call online. So you type in pizza places in Marion, a pizza place comes up, you click on it, it gives you a phone number. If you call that number, it's not really their regular number. It routes through this database and the company pays per call. So they wanted to describe that platform in a certain way, which they gave away certain information, but they didn't go through the details of how it worked. So, but you can still talk to people about things generally. There are exceptions. If the idea, the software, the website is so unique, then, I guess at some point you're going to have to start it off small or get enough funding to actually do it without telling people. But what the web does though is that secret, lasts until you go live. Once you're live, everybody sees what you're doing. So I'm not sure how protected you'll be by not telling people a couple months earlier. And in so doing, typical clients are way underestimating how much programming time it's going to take, way underestimating how much staff it's going to take.
I guess what I'm leading toward is just copyright or other, things besides, a patent.
Right.
Is that, ways of planning to say, well, for protecting that concept, that business plan, I'll plan that, hey, this is copyright.
Well, you're the attorney, right? Is that?
Yeah, well, copyright will protect the literal, code.
Right. But someone can change it, that is...
Well, yeah, but you're typically not going to make it available so they can see the source code either. So that's a way. I mean, you copyright that, some measure of protection.
But I mean, if there's a sequence of events that anybody can say, wow, that makes sense, I'll do that too.
Yeah, you run that risk.
Yeah.
They can reverse engineer for the operation.
I mean, even though they may not see that particular sort of...
Correct. Yeah.
But I mean, a copyright would not, give you some...
Copyright just protects expressions of ideas rather than the ideas themselves. So, software is at least still, potentially protectable as a business method patent, but that's getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to mention is that there are patents for business methods, but you can't really patent software. There's a lot of complexities to that really a patent attorney that has experience in that area would be best able to help you with. But software is one of those things where basically once you identify what you're building, essentially you're presenting a product, and there are literally thousands of people that can figure out how to develop that same product using, starting from scratch. So software is a little bit different, and what you need to be able to do with software is do a good job of evaluating the marketplace. Ideally, put together a little bit of a screenshot or a prototype without the code behind it, so you can show somebody, under non-disclosure that, here's what my idea is, here's what it would do. And if it's somebody that's knowledgeable in the business and trustworthy, which, I think we could find some people like that. Most of the time you're going to find there are a half dozen other products out there that do something similar. It's really tough in the software business to be unique, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. There are options.
And I want to add something to that. My software companies, I wouldn't so much say that their ideas were so unique. And I've worked with probably 10 of them. One now I'm working with, it's not unique. There's someone who already has something similar. It's just inferior. And the market that they're going for in the financial service space, there's several large companies that are not using a product that meets this need. What's going to come down to is developing the software in a strong fashion, A, and then B, how they're going to execute going to market. So the companies that I've seen succeed, it's because they then hire a developer, they hire customer service, they hire someone in marketing, and they actually execute on this as a business. And that's why if you're going to software, it's unlikely that someone's going to say, oh, that's a great idea, I'm going to pay you just for the concept of that idea. But if you can take it to market, develop it as a business, and eventually add the proper people, and then have sales and execute, you'll succeed. Another client of mine, they have software that allows restaurants and companies to keep track of their hourly employees, how to do scheduling, how to send messages to people's cell phones. There's other companies that do it. They said, oh, nobody else does it. I went online to Google, in about 60 seconds, I found a dozen companies. So I went back to them and I said, well, here's 12 companies. They weren't aware of half of them. This is 2 years ago. I showed them what it was. I said, tell me what's better about your product. You got to beat each of these companies. A couple of their ways they're going to beat them was just better to market, better sales, better customer service. Or there's a part of that component of their software that the other one doesn't have. Okay. The other scheduling software doesn't interact with texting. Well, now most hourly employees have cell phones. If you get them to call up and schedule, they won't do it. But if you can send a text that says, your shift tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, you need to be here for our call center, and it goes out automatic, and the person can text back to accept the shift or not, is a pretty powerful new tool. That's the thing they came up with. That was a huge differentiator. But what it's really coming down to is, if you build a better mousetrap, people will beat a path. That's not true. I don't think. If you build a better mousetrap and then you execute a plan for it, and then you market it right, and then you price it right, and you do it again and again and again, you'll probably be more likely to be successful. So it's the whole execution as well that's required, I think.
I would second that. I do a lot of work for software companies. It's not just the code, it's the user experience, the support, the maintenance, the way they leave it, the architecture open to integrate with other things that come along, the way it scales, the way it'll change with the customer's business. And then, how do they get on their horse? Do they hit the targets and the market correctly? Are they positioning it? It's a jungle out there with all the products, and there's a lot of things that just get drowned out or never really make any noise, I would say. Software is a little bit different than gadgets. Not a little bit. Software is very different than gadgets, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I don't want to take up your time.
I think it was a good discussion.
Okay, yeah, we can talk offline later. Okay, so marketing.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
before you
go ahead.
move on to that, we're
Sure.
talking about software and gadgets. So
Yeah.
would you agree that if you had a product, you would want to get it patented first, if it's patentable, before you start analyzing and researching, showing people that product? Is that true? Because you
I
don't want
wouldn't
anybody
say that,
to
no.
pick up that.
But
No, I think, and what I'm
I
not
mean,
sure
if
if
you're
you're here for
standing on a
the.
street corner and you're saying, would you buy this, and you don't know the people, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying those.
No, I think that the method outlined in that book, Patent It Yourself, that I mentioned, as well as what we advocate is, there are the correct times to get a patent, but it doesn't make sense to get a patent on something that's not going to make money. Okay, so let's figure out if it's going to make money or if it's going to do what you want it to do first, and then pursue the patent. And there are a lot of ways to protect yourself while you talk to people before you get to that point. And I would say, do some homework, figure out what else is out there, do the things that Adam's saying, and then come in and see us and explain to us what you found. And I think we can provide some good guidance as to what next steps or encouragement or, as Adam used the term, morph it into something that might, be the next step in the evolution.